Today's guest is Josh Griffiths, CGC.
Yeah.
Josh, you want to tell us a story?
Yeah, so like I say, I'm Josh Griffiths. I'm a post-nominal to CGC, so everything comes on letters and mortgages and that. I got post-nominal CGC. The CGC stands for Conspicuous Gantry Cross, and it's a bravery award for what you win for actions in Afghan, Iraq, Falklands, whatever you were in, and you do something brave, you win it. But yes, that's me, Conspicuous Gantry Cross. I'll go into that story later on in a bit, but yeah, I'm from the Wirral, Birkenhead, born Birkenhead, live now the posh side in Eastham, you know. But yeah, I was 16 years in the army. I was infantry, so I joined Cheshire Regiment, which is the Birkenhead Regiment, and then we amalgamated to the Mercians. So I started very young, so I joined the army 17. But before that, I knew I was going to join the army, like well before that. Obviously, ISIS was alive, so when the September 11 bombs happened, 7/7 bombs happened, and that's what pushed me into the army mainly. I suppose my dad being in the army. So I went at 17, did my training up in Catterick, North Yorkshire, 7 months there, and then straight from there I deployed to Northern Ireland. That was my first operational tour, Operation Banner.
How did you find that over there?
For me, it was different because it wasn't like the 70s and the 80s and 90s, you like the proper Northern Ireland troubles, rioting, and it was more of like a closed down tour. So I went over to Battalion, still 17, and the lads who were there have just come back from Iraq, so they did on the tour of Iraq. So to me, they were war heroes. They were like veterans of Iraq, and you could see they had like PTSD and that, but that wasn't talked about back then. And it's a bit rough because 17-year-old little boy just started puberty, you turn up to this manly regiment, and then you're thrown into the riot training and you get deployed. I don't know if you heard of Bedbrook Mill, it's south of Mar, it's where all the troubles were mainly, so I was straight away put into Bedbrook Mill. Because I was 17, I wasn't allowed to go on patrols, I wasn't allowed to go out on the ground for say, so I was in the guard room and you're getting told about if a car pulls up with a man tied to it or a woman tied to it, called a proxy bomb, shut these shutters, shut proxy, and if you can, these bolt cutters would go aside and try and cut them out, and you're thinking, fucking hell, I'm being told, go and cut a guy out of a car with a bomb, or could explode on the gate, and it's happened happened quite a lot of times, and soldiers before that have died for trying to help the people get them out and that. So there's a bit of an eye-opener from the real world, you know. As soon as I turned 18, I was allowed to go on patrol then, so I was allowed to go on patrols and get spat at outside the post office, because it's like patrolling around here, because it's Northern Ireland, still the UK, so you go sat outside the post office and a kid comes past on a bike and calls you a Brit wanker and spits at you. No what can you do, you know? You're just like, yeah, thank you. And it's mental. But Northern Ireland was completely different. You know, we did the ride training, all the troubles and the marches, the orange marches and stuff, and we prepared for that all the time. So we used to get constantly ride training, petrol bombing, every scenario you can think of. We were in it. It was.
Can I ask, like, you're still 17 at this age when this is happening, right?
Yeah.
So you're still a kid who's grown, who's gone through training, been trained, basic training to be prepared to come into the military, right? And you passed this and now you've been deployed here. You're still a kid. You've got a youngster spitting on you. You know, obviously psychologically it's going to have an effect. Didn't you feel this? Because
100%, yeah.
And then, you know, you're here, still in the UK, but you've got the Irish people, which, you know, you're a Scouser, you're actually kind of related in a way, so the way I see it.
I'm from the Wirral, I'm not Scouser.
Yeah, but same sort of thing. So same region,
yeah.
So, you know, over the water, there's Ireland there. There's an old historic link between the people of this city and this territory with Ireland. And I just think, you know, I'm just thinking, like, as a 17-year-old, going through that experience psychologically and then seeing your own brethren, white people from across the water on an island showing you hatred, like how do you comprehend that?
You can't. You find it weird. I didn't really know, like, you know the history of the IRA and bombings, like Warrington and stuff.
Well, see,
you get taught about that young, but you don't really understand it until you get there. You know, it's because you're British. And a lot of the Northern Irish, mainly Catholics, you know, my dad's Catholic, my whole side of the family are Catholic. It blew my head because they didn't want to be British, they wanted to be Irish, which I understand, you know.
Yeah.
They want to be a united island.
Right.
But it messes with your head, and you're thinking, what's going on? Like, why is this going on? Why is this happening now?
Exactly, yeah.
And he hated you because you were British, because you were from mainland England.
Representing the military.
Yeah, and they did, and it wasn't just the Catholics, the Protestants also, the UDL, they hated us too, and even though they were fighting the Catholics, and it was a lot to get around.
Sorry, how long was you deployed there for?
6 months, so the tour itself, I got there later, was a 2-year posting. Even though it was operational banner, it was still a 2-year posting. That was the crazy thing about it. So you go to the towers, you go to South Omar, you know, you go on the border, you're doing... A year before I got there was the White Rock riots. If you ever Google it, it's probably one of the most vicious riots. And the Mercian Regiment, the guys I was now bedded with, they were in them riots in the thick of it. And one lad shot 3 rioters. They were getting shot back at crossbows. And then a week later, they were out in Belfast on the piss. It's like... It's mental. You're patrolling for these towns and cities, and you're doing all this top cover and the riot training, and then they're like, right, weekend off, lads. You can fly home back to Liverpool, you know, from Belfast International, and then come back on Monday, and you like get a taxi and pull it up, and you know, even though Op Banner was over, I don't know if you remember back in 2009, them 2 engineers, British engineers, both to deploy to Afghan the next day, and they went out to get the pizza, and as they went outside to get the pizza, the IRA pulled up and shot them and killed them, just getting pizza. Now it's 2009, so it's still very active over there too, and it was still active when I was there, but now it's gone to a different game. It's gone to the drug game, hasn't it? You know what I mean, that kind of thing. But yeah, like to your question, there was just dabbled, yeah. Even still now, thinking, fucking hell, it's fucking mental this. Like I've never been back to Northern Ireland, never been. Mates have been stag do's and all sorts. But
So you done 2 years.
So I did 6 months. I did 6 months, yeah.
So you done the first 6 months. So you didn't, okay, so
yeah,
that's good.
so I did
in a
6
way.
months. Yeah, I did the last 6 months.
So that's your first assignment after you passed out and completed your training in like 6 months.
Yeah,
that's your first.
Straight there.
Wow.
You know, got a medal for it, and I wear that medal same as the guys who wore in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, the Troubles, and I wear the same medal as them, which is quite Remembrance Day. And I'm wearing Northern Ireland, they're looking at me like, how old are you, mate? You got the same medal as me. It's like, I know you obviously fucking had a rough time over there, and I just given it like a Kellogg's fucking medal, basically, we call it. But yeah, that was Northern Ireland. We finished Northern Ireland. But when I joined 2006, 2007, it was like the peak time to be an infantry, to join. If you wanted to be in the army, that was the time to join the army. You want to go and fight, that was the time, because we had Northern Ireland, Iraq and Afghanistan. And that was all kicking off. Iraq was kicking off still, and Afghanistan was building up now. It was starting from 2005 onwards. It started to be proper war fighting. Everyone was focused on Iraq. And again, luckily but unlucky enough, I was back in England for 2 months, and I straight deployed to Iraq. I deployed on Optelic 11, which as a kid, I've always wanted to be in the army. I've always watched the news.
How long? So you come back from Ireland, 2 months break to settle back, and then deployed again to Iraq. How long was this deployment?
7 months.
7 months then. So it's come back from Ireland 6 months, and now you're 7 months in hostile, even more hostile.
Even more hostile, you know.
Because now you've got to worry about
they didn't want us there. We were the invaders. We invaded them. Exactly. We're the invaders.
And this was obviously whilst the fall of Saddam.
Yeah.
Because this is the fall of Saddam. So you've gone there where this nation has taken a big fall, and this is real hostile territory, because now you're getting targeted to get taken out.
Yeah.
So this is a lot more hostile from where you were as an island, because that's calmed down now.
Yeah.
Where you were. So you come finishing off, and now you've gone to a straight full-on war.
Straight back. So we had 2 months in England, and them 2 months wasn't in England. We had to deploy to Germany and go on exercises, getting ready for the Afghan crew, different training, different fighting. You're fighting cities and like walking down the street like this, and you're fighting people at the windows, shooting the windows and that. So you got to learn them different tactics and IEDs, and how to deal with IEDs and stuff. And that was quite 2 months hefty. So I'm still now 18. I'm like, bloody hell, I'm going to Iraq now. But in my head, I wanted it. I wanted to go to Iraq. I wanted to go and fight. I wanted to go and serve. You know, I'm a royalist and not much anymore now because of what's going on. But I'm a royalist, you know, Queen and country, die hard through. So I want to go fight, and in my head, I was fighting for a right thing. I was fighting for Queen and country. I was fighting for the people of England and the UK. So when I went out there, I wanted the action, and unluckily, we didn't get much action in Iraq. You know, lads over the battalion. So we mentioned the Duke of Lancaster before. They got hit. They were in Basra, they were getting hit. And the Scots Guards, they were getting hit. But us, we were in a place called Qasr, just southern Iraq.
Right, okay.
So we were looking after the town of Qasr and the port and stuff, and we were on patrol, foot patrols, but the threat was there, the IEDs there, but for some reason they didn't hit us. We were next to an American camp, and we'll go down this road, go toward like Safwan Hill, which is like a big hill. If you look at the Iraq History War, that was a big hill which looked over into Basra and stuff, and we'll go towards there, and nothing would happen, and you could see like something was going to happen, but nothing happened to us, and we'd be on top cover of the 50 cows ready for it, and then half an hour later an American convoy would come down, and you hear IED go off, and them getting absolutely battered, and casualties, and you see the helicopters coming in, you're thinking, fucking hell, we've just been there, and we'll go back that way, and nothing, and you're like, why are they hitting us? Like,
I just think you were just, you had a guardian angel or something protecting
something,
you.
yeah.
Because where you know, the attacks happen there, but when you're gone there, there's no attack. So I just think you've been lucky.
It was lucky, but
pure luck.
That was our downside then because of this, because Iraq, because not really much happened in Iraq. We had a few shooting scoops, you know, shooting scoops popped when a few pop, and then you're like, by the time you reacted, you turn around, you're like, well, I can't fucking shoot because there's a fucking marker down the road, and you can't shoot the civilians because then you get the war crimes. And so a few rounds went off, and then we got rocked a lot. The Chinese rockets sound like a fucking firework, so that's why people see ducking and diving, you know, the military, because it's like a fucking firework going off. We got rocked a lot. But then we moved from Qasr, this is where it got a bit more tastier, into Basra, up to Basra city. And we did, the tour before our tour, the Royal Welsh, they pulled out of Basra, and we handed over to the Iraqi army, we handed over to the Iraqi police and said, this is your city, this is your country, you crack on, we'll be here to support. And that happened 6 months, and they were getting absolutely battered in Basra city.
Once you left that place?
Yeah, so the Royal Welsh pulled out, and we went on the border in the place called the Cobb, which is the airport. We were stationed there, and the Royal Welsh pulled out before us, and we just sat there as a QRF. But the Iraqi police and Iraqi army were going in every day and doing the checkpoints and trying to take back the city, and they was getting slaughtered. Constant casualties, constant deaths. It was quite bad for them. So in the end, they're at our tour. They're like, right, we're going to go in. We're going to take back Basra. We're like, fucking hell. We're like, this is it. We're going to get action. We're going to get something. So we all worked up to it. We all gone to our masters, and it was a joint operation. It was the Scots Guards and the Warriors. It was the Duke of Lancasters and the Bulldogs, and it was us and the masters. And the mission was to go in, cross the bridge, and take positions and hold position and fight, and then let the Iraqi police and Iraqi army come in and sweep up, if you know what I mean. So we were like, sound. We got ready for a big operation, and while we were getting ready, the Iraqi militants started rocketing us, and I think they fired about 67 rockets at us in one night. And where I was, when he says Guardian Angel, I believe it was that day, I was on a checkpoint inside the camp, because it's like a camp in a camp in a camp, you know what I mean? It's like a big fucking city. And where I was, a big balloon went up with a camera on top, and I could see all the Iraqis and Basra and see what's going on. So they targeted that, and I was underneath that, and 60 rockets coming around me and 5 lads was probably area about this big, just holding each other, thinking, oh my fucking God, just rocket after rocket after rocket, just getting battered by them. No one got hit by us. There was a few casualties. A RAF bloke got killed that rocket attack. Sadly enough, he was having a shit on the toilet, and you heard his sirens go off. He went to get down, he didn't get down. So where I landed, cut him. So it was like fucking just pure devastation. Like, 2 Royal Military Police officers, they got injured.
Wait, just cut him from the top.
Literally, yeah, cut him. It's just like,
no, not a good way to go.
Because he didn't get down. If he got down, he would have probably got a bit of frag, but yeah, he fucking died, that poor lad.
Well, how would it, upon arrival, how were the people with you over there, just as normal civilians?
They were alright friendly, because it's very third world, so we would give them gifts, you know what I mean? We would give them like fresh water, bottled water, sweets, pens. They love pens. I don't know why, they love pens. And they were quite nice, some of them. You know what I mean? You felt sorry for them. But they'd go about the normal day. You go on patrol in Umm and they would just crack on the normal day. They would see you and they're like, Assalamu alaikum. You're like, ah, alaikum salam. And then they just crack on, get the little black little bags and going shopping, and the women shopping and getting the fruit and you cooking tea and stuff. And
Just cracking on with their normal
carrying
life.
on normal day. I think because they're used to it. They're used to us being there. And we weren't there as a fighting force at the time.
I'm
We were
surprised, like, they actually greeted you with Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah.
And you lot say wa alaikum salam.
Yeah, we'll greet
You
them
actually
back.
greet them back?
We'll greet them back. It's
And
not...
then they were pleasant, so they were actually welcoming and friendly.
That's what was our bad side then, as in, because we were so relaxed and so, like, oh, they're friendly and stuff, and you're nice, and you do get the bad guys. You get around the world, you get fucking bad guys. And but you do get your bad guys there, and you can see the males, some of the males, and they stare at you, and you know they fucking hated you. And you know, to look at, especially me and my friend, we were 18, so they're like, fucking hell, these little kiddies with weapons. You're like, fucking hell, they're going to attack us. But they didn't in Uncle Saw. So when we went to Basra for this operation, that's when we dropped our guard down from being Uncle Saw. And we got rocked to that first night and then went into operation. So we went in, and the Scots Guards were leading us, the warriors, and then the Lanks and us. And we were at the back, and then you could hear the Scots Guards. As soon as they crossed that bridge and entered the Basra, RPGs and tracers flying through the air. Like, fucking hell, here we go. We were on top cover now, getting ready, the guns. And as they got through, you can hear the 30 cows going off, the warriors popping rounds off. You know, like, they're getting some. They peeled off left. Duke Lanks come in with the bulldogs, and they had chain guns, usually like mini-me chain guns. You can hear them blasting off, and they got hit by an ID and took a few casualties. They did, the Lanks. But we had to crack on fighting. So it was our turn now. So I was the second wagon in. And I was like, here we go. And the net lads are like, get some quiet. Not a fucking round, nothing. No one shot at us. No one fucking. We were like, what's going on here? Yeah, like, but that was like the main bit of action in Iraq. For us, so I wouldn't say about that was Iraq as a whole. You know, the lads who went to Iraq had a fucking rough time and they got twatted. But what I went to Iraq to do, but didn't get to do it. I didn't get to fight what I wanted to do. So when we finished Iraq, and I was finished it on my birthday, my 19th birthday, we flew home from Iraq, May 23rd. And that was it. Then when we got back to home, we were now based in North Yorkshire. And we had a year and a half now at home, but we were getting ready for Afghan now. We were getting ready for the Afghan tour. And this is when it was kicking off. This is when the Ross Kemp Afghanistan was out.
Yeah.
So,
the documentary made.
Tasty in there, and you get this proper fighting. And before my tour, my older brother, he's a paratrooper, and he went to Afghan before me. While I was in Iraq, this was like when I was in Iraq, my brother went to Afghan, so it was two brothers, two different war zones fighting. But he had a hell of a time, and I remember him coming back, and I was like, oh, I'm going to Afghan, Jake, and his face just dropped. He was like, get out of it, just get the fuck out of it, do not go.
Is that your older brother?
My older brother, yeah, only 1 year older.
Just two brothers, yeah?
Three of us.
Three, okay.
And my older brother, John, he wasn't in the military, he was a travel hooligan.
Did all three sons of your parents join the army then? And your dad was in the army
So
as
my
well?
dad was in the army, and me and my brother were in the army.
2 or 3 years, yeah?
Yeah.
So now you're the youngest, right?
I'm the youngest boy, yeah.
Wow, so obviously your older brother's concerned now. So how long after you come back from, so you were 19 when you came back on your birthday from Iraq. How long did you sit then before you got deployed to Afghanistan?
So we're a year and a half in England.
So
when you come back from operation,
21 and a half then when you got deployed.
20.
So 20 years, 1.5 years. So you're 19, 20. So you're going to be.
I turned 21
20
in Afghan. Yeah.
Yeah. So 1.5 years later, you got deployed to Afghanistan. Afghanistan was a lot more hostile, more than because they're mountains, rough terrain.
It was war. It was
country that's never really been conquered in history. They say, but
never been conquered really, has it?
But I think British have, even in history for a short period. But even when you read the history, they turned and massacred, and then British had to leave.
Yeah.
So that was their old history. But now, obviously, I feel that they did occupy it, but then they released it in a way. So, this I don't think this was this. I think this is when it was kicking off.
This tour, Herrick 12, 2010.
2010, right?
From 2006 onwards, there was bloody tours.
A lot of
casualties.
British people died.
This one
as
was
well.
named the bloodiest tour of the summer. It was the bloodiest tour of the war. It was that bad.
This is the worst period, right?
Worst they've seen the war at this peak. So before this, we were getting ready for it. You know, we were getting ready, and you remember every day was soldier killed, soldier killed, and we were getting ready, and we knew we were going to lose lads. But this was what I wanted to do. You know, this is what I seen on September 11th and the 7/7 bombing. This is the reason why I was in the army. I was going to Afghanistan. I remember watching it in year 8. I was watching the news, the bombings, and now this is 8 years later. I'm like, fucking hell, the war's still going on. I'm going to deploy. I'm going to fight. And the training to it was hard. It was proper. It was scary shit. Like really, the training. This is a fucking training. Not even being out there, and there's death, casualties, legs missing, IEDs, and so on. And it does work on your head as well. When you play a psychology thing with Northern Ireland, and you do see a lot of lads leave the army because of it, or cowered out of it, and they're like, I'm not fucking going over there. But this is what I wanted to do. This is what I didn't get to do in Iraq, and didn't do in Northern Ireland. But this is what I wanted to go to war. Like, I was like a war junkie for say. If you, you know,
I noticed that as well. When I was in the Navy, there were certain people who joined from a young age, and it's like it was in their blood to go out to actually kill people and fight. And
Can I? So when you're going to Afghanistan now, was you actually happy that you might get to kill someone there?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like this is what everyone talked about to me. This is your opportunity to legally kill someone. This is your opportunity to go and fight, which you've wanted to do, and opportunity to kill someone. But another than side of it, you can also be killed.
So obviously you've shot people then, and you've killed people, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
So you have a lot of people. Obviously that's war, right? So you've witnessed people next to you get shot and get killed as well.
Yeah, I've witnessed a lot of that.
A lot of that. So you've not just killed, but you've also witnessed your comrades
both sides, haven't you?
Yeah.
People
been on both sides of it, really.
Both sides, exactly. So out there was war. Like it was fucking war. You know, we were fixing bayonets and charging enemy positions, and it was a rough time. You know, to start. You knew it was a rough time because on day 3 off RSOI, which is you do a little package in Afghanistan. You get into Afghanistan, you land in Bastion. You do like a 5-day package, get used to the heat. People from the front line come out and they would teach SOPs and what they've been going through the last 6 months with them. And we were standing on this range, a Claymore range, because we had to set up Claymores because where we were going was the front line. It wasn't like Camp Bastion where you had KFC and fucking Button and cold water and hot showers. This is the front line in a little shitty fob, drinking out of wells, drinking warm water, eating corned beef mash for fucking 6 months. So we had to collect Claymores as defences because the Taliban would close in, and they did come really close. And we were on this range, and I remember the Chinook come flying in, the MERT, Medical Emergency Response Team, like an ambulance on a fucking hospital on a Chinook, got doctors on there, and that. This came screaming in. And we all stopped and looked, and this Royal Welsh lad was teaching us, and he just stopped and looked at it, and we all looked at it. And it came in, screamed in, landed in the hospital, seen the sirens go off, seen like this person getting dragged off the helicopter, and within like 5 minutes, op minimise come on, which is a code word for all communication out as seized. That means the soldier's been either killed or seriously wounded, and they need to tell the family first before it gets out on Facebook or Twitter or whatever else. So we're like, fucking hell, it's bad. And then about 2 minutes later, all the flags come half-mast. And we're like, fuck, British soldier's been killed. And this kid, he was a Royal Welsh lad, he died. He had 2 days left. We were replacing him. So we were replacing him in the front line, and he was shot and killed in Ali Ali. And that was the shocker. That was literally, fuck, this is war. That could be one of us in a fucking few days, and you know, sadly it was. And then soon we deployed out into the front line. I was in a place called Rahim Calais. It's in the Upper Gresh Valley, it's Death Valley. And we were the first British soldiers there in like a year and a half. So the Taliban stronghold, massively. It was only a company of us, so it was 80 of us landed there. And we came in straight, soon as we come in, we started taking fire straight off in helicopters. Gone to his compounds, built this compound up, and the OC, Major Wood, absolute fucking cunt of a bloke, can't stand him, shithouse, hate him, fucking hate him. He came up to our platoon commander and said, right, we need the first patrol to go out, we need to go and find the enemy and fight them. That was the task of the sheik. Find the enemy, fight them.
Fight them.
That's it, go and find them and see what they've got. We were okay, so we went out on 22-man patrol, 2 motorposts, 12 men, and we pushed out the next morning. It's just now D-Day 1+1, you know what I mean? This is like shit. We're going out, and I was the 2IC, so I was the corporal now, so I was promoted back a year later. So I was in charge of lads, and I was the third man in patrol. So in front of you have 2 Valor men. The Valor men find the IDs who sweep, and I was their cover, so I was their eyes to look for any enemy. So we were patrolling through, and it took us about fucking 2.5 hours to get about 3 kilometres, and it was just pure through like compounds and drainage ditches and rivers, and we're like fucking out, very quiet, very airy, no civilians around, and cut left of this compound. It's like a mad like alleyway, but like on an angle, if you know what I mean, like a straight alleyway. And I was walking, and across from us was like a wadi, what's got known to be called a fucking IED wadi, because it was just fucking full of IEDs. And there was another compound in the corner, and I was walking and said to my mate, Jamie Webb, I was like, head for that corner. And as I said that, I just caught my eye, just seen these figures just come up, 2 figures, and then round, all the way through us. And I was like, we just dropped to the floor, fucking hell, dropped to the floor. I started turning around, as I was hitting the floor, I was firing. And I was like, fucking hell, so I started firing a few rounds off. The rounds are like snapping past your head, dust kicking up in front of your face, like, fuck me. My then concern was we're being
missing
heroic.
your heads, the rounds up.
Literally, they were hitting the wall behind us.
Bloody hell.
And we're being heroic, and I was looking, and the heroic was missing. My point man was missing. So I was like, fucking hell, heroic, where the fuck are you, heroic? And he ran forward to that alleyway and got into cover, which what you're trained to do, you get into cover, but he shouldn't have done that because he wasn't cleared from IEDs. That could have been a trap to go for and hit an IED. He come back, and then the worst sound you ever hear in Afghan war is the word man down. You know, you've got a bloke,
one of your boys is down now.
One lad been shot. And I was like, who the fuck been shot? So I turned behind me and looked at Reggie Varley, and behind him was a lad called Pacey, and he was shot through the kneecap. And he was just on the fucking floor, and we were like...
But you healed it, like banded him up. And
well, the medic had to come. I to win the firefight. Initially, your casualty there, you had to win the firefight. We were still under.
So you have to cover him, put him into safety whilst you're still firing, whilst the medic comes to band him up and pull him out of the action
That's
zone.
what the lads were doing, but there was no cover. It was like basically being on a fucking football pitch. It was open.
Bloody hell.
We were on fire now, and that was day 1, and we were like, fucking hell. So I was still firing, started firing my UGLs off on the slung grenade launcher, which is the bomb you fire off. I had one of them. I was firing, I kept firing, and this guy came out the doorway, and as he came out the doorway, I was popped another UGO, and as he popped out, it was like, it's not a fucking film, but it's fucking hit him direct.
Oh, shit.
And then his body was on the floor. So I said to Webby and Rowick, I was like, can you see that fucking body? He's like, yeah. I think, is he in a firing position? Is he still, and rounds are still coming in from that way, still bullets shooting out. And we're like, fucking hell. I like put rounds into him, like if he could be injured on the floor, getting the firing, he could be firing still. I don't know, I can't see. Put rounds into him, we did, and he was
so
gone.
These are rounds of assault rifles, AK-47s, big ones, yeah.
No 5.56.
So these like one shot off it in a series, like on the head, you're gone, innit?
So the UGL, it's a grenade basically, but you fire.
I was noticing whilst you're giving the hand things, just for the camera people, it's like very military style, his hand gestures and signals, like because you're not supposed to talk sometimes when you're in action, and you like your hand movements do the talking, and he's using that, and I can relate to it. I can relate to it, but have you been shot? I've got a few questions. Have you actually ever been shot?
No, I've not.
In combat zone, you've been through a lot of combat, so like, you know, but you've been always fortunate where you have actually taken a wound.
I've not taken a bullet, but I took a suicide bomber. He blew me up. I took an RPG frag to the face. I've been fragged up by IED, but hit by the arm and the helmet
and stuff. So you have been hit by but they haven't penetrated through your armour and stuff.
Not a bullet, but my face was. My cheek
so you were injured.
My face was bloody, and my back was broke.
But you've healed quite well, man.
Yeah, he was quite well. Still a little dent in my face.
I'm saying there's no, you know, you're clean, smart-looking guy, well spoken, and you know, looking good. So Clearly, I'm
lucky.
just saying that your face doesn't look scarred or anything.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying the rest of your body, you haven't taken any bullets or
No
anything.
bullets, no scars, no like
no
holes.
bone injuries or anything. So you haven't discharged out of medical reasons out of the
No,
army.
I left the army. No,
You left the army out of your own choice, yeah,
Yeah.
after serving. Okay, so you were like, what, 16 years? You had 4 years. Do you say 16 years, yeah?
16 years, yeah.
What made you come out 4 years early? Because you could have been like on the full 20-year service, isn't it?
No more wars.
Right,
no
so
more
is that,
fighting.
is that why you
Yeah,
decided to
there was
quit?
no more fighting for me. There was no more. I didn't have a purpose in the army. What was my
Really? So
purpose?
you feel that you accomplished what you went in there for, and
It was a bit of both, but it was also a bit of how do I fucking say it? I sound like a right prick. It was let down too because we surrendered Afghanistan. We lost the war. That's
is that
no matter
your
what
honest
anyone
heart
says,
saying this? Was
we
that the
lo-
truth?
That's truth. We lost the war. We pulled
How?
out. We pulled out, and within the half day, the Taliban took over Kabul.
Did they not get handed back to Taliban, or did you just pull straight out?
Pulled out. The Taliban come in.
When did this actually take place? Remind the people and myself
Yeah,
as well.
we pulled
What
out.
year was this, and what the government?
2019. Was it 2019? Yeah, 2019. We pulled out of Afghanistan. We stopped Helmand Province operations in 2015, but we were still in Kabul. We still had the presence on the ground. We still had
Exactly,
men
yeah.
in the
Remember
country. We still controlled the country. We still, not us, the ANA and ANP, Afghan National Police, Afghan National Army. They controlled the country. That's why we pulled back. But then the Taliban regrouped in the mountains, which fair one, and they pushed into Kabul, and the ANA surrendered and ran away, and the ANP ran away, and I wasn't there for that bit, but they were literally toe to toe with each other, and the Taliban were like, get the fuck out of the country.
How was the ANA and ANP then? How was their reaction to you pulling out? Did they want you to go?
No, they weren't ready. They weren't ready at all to pull. When we pulled out, they weren't ready. They were fucking shite. They were terrible.
Did the British get all their hardware out as well, or leave it like America did?
I think they left some bits.
Some bits, but
Yeah.
America left a lot of bits.
America left millions
Helicopters
of pounds,
and bloody
yeah.
Humvees and all
Everything.
sorts of hardware,
Yeah.
which I just don't get it, because you've left them, basically you've left a better army for them. Like they've got a better army than what they were,
yeah.
because they didn't have this hardware, they didn't have all these helicopters and whatever. So you've been fighting somebody for over 10 years, lost a lot of lives, British lives. What was the purpose of it if in the end you're going to leave all your military equipment and leave it with the people you're fighting and leave them more stronger than when you left? You've done that,
Yeah,
the British and the American.
yeah.
What was the purpose of this war from the very start? Because what I need, you have to come to a decision that, you've matured from a young man now, from a kid to
Yeah.
a man in this. And you wanted to join because you wanted to go to war, you wanted to go to fight. But now I think that something's changed in your heart and your mind.
Yeah.
Because what's changed is, what have we gained out of all of this apart from bloodshed and loss of life?
And
Not
we're
just
still
their
losing
side, but
lives now.
our own lives as well. Your friends,
Yeah.
people who served with you, who might have you done basic training with, is no longer with you. You just got him on the photo now. So
Yeah.
what have we actually accomplished?
Nothing.
So
This is
we
why
just
I
went
left
to
it.
war for fuck
This
all.
is why we went to war. We went to war to stop the Al Qaeda growing, stop terrorist camps, stop this invasion of Europe. There's going to be more attacks. That's what we were told we went to war for. We went for war for this reason, to stop this thing go. My belief is we did do that. There wasn't many attacks really in England until 2017. From 2004 to 2017 wasn't any attacks.
I just, there's a side of me now when, I served, and what you felt in the beginning when you were in Ireland, I
Yeah.
felt that when I was deployed for 6 months on the Type 23 frigate for Iraq, because I
Yeah.
joined in 2001. I done 4 years and I quit because I got a lot of stigma from my community, my people,
Yeah.
because I am a Muslim.
Yeah.
Even though I'm born in England and I had a military passion and whatever, the world changed after I joined. September the 11th happened after, when I was in basic training
ready
and then
in.
finished my part 1 training, part 2. whilst I was going through my part 2, this happened, and then I completed my part 2, went into part 3, completed that, 6 months deployment. So it's like I'm seeing cruise missiles being fired, Harpoon missiles from the British Navy ships into Iraq. And I'm a Muslim.
Yeah.
That's my religion. And when I go back to my local town, like weekend leave, like, you know, or, you know, come back and go and leave, I got stigma.
Yeah.
A lot of people at the mosque and the community, oh, you're in the military. How do you feel like killing your own people? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
the people of your own faith, like, you know, it didn't sit well with me.
No, yeah, it doesn't sit well with a lot of...
It didn't sit well with me in deep inside. And the thing is, I'm in safety. I'm on a ship.
Yeah.
I'm not in harm's way. We're bloody firing stuff and it's bloody killing, like massacring people. But I'm in safety on the middle of the sea.
Yeah.
And they ain't got no navy to attack us.
Yeah.
So it made me feel guilty. It made me feel that I'm doing wrong. And that's the reason I had to quit.
Yeah.
That's my reason why I walked out. And do you know what? When I started looking into history and all sorts of sequence of events, and I uncovered a lot, I don't think that the Muslims done September the 11th. I genuinely believe that it's the Zionist Netanyahu and co. and the Epstein crew who done it, and now it's coming out.
Yeah.
And that's same with the 7/7, because you know what? I'm very into timing off the stars and the dates. And when you convert the Gregorian calendar to all other religious calendars, and what you get back is where you find the secrets of why these events are happening so precisely on certain days, like 2005, 7/7.
Yeah.
2 plus 0 plus 0 plus 5 is what? 777. 777 is a godly number. They done that to disrupt the energy of God, to give power to the Satan force, you know, like Satanism and all that. They are very, you know, occultists on when they do these events.
Yeah.
And when you put 2 and 2 together, and then back then I was sharing this knowledge with people, and people call me crazy and all sorts, right? They never wanted to believe you. But I said, no problem. It's too early. It's 2005. According to my calculations, wait till 2020 and then 2025. I can't say nothing. I have to sit back and I have to let the bullshit happen, let the devil play his game. And this is real lives that are getting taken.
Yeah.
We are losing real people, real lives. Real lives don't matter to them.
All your views goes out the window when that first round goes past your head. Out the window, don't care what you're fighting there for, doesn't matter. You're there to fucking survive.
Exactly.
And make your mate survive. So we had two of my Muslim friends, Niji and Cham, the African lads from Ghana. Great lads, fucking amazing lads. Cham, for both full-fledged Muslims. Cham was a fighter, fucking grafter. He would be like, when we fix bayonets, he'd fix bayonets and he'd be charging with us. Niji, he was on with us on every patrol. He didn't fire one single round. Didn't fire one bullet at the back of the enemy because he said, I want to shoot my brothers, but I'm here to do a job. Sadly, on September the 12th, it was 17th man of patrol in front of me, and he stood on an IED, and he lost both his legs.
Is that the one that went up on you?
No.
So he didn't fire a single round because he said, I don't want to shoot my brothers.
He don't want to shoot, but what he did do was carry ammunition for us to fire for him. But he didn't fire one round.
He lost his legs.
He believed in what he was doing out there because he believed in, you know, he cardiac lads. Talk about that in a minute, and he lost both his legs.
So
both his legs, and he said his words like, my Muslim brothers did this, my brothers did this, and that's what he was saying on the stretcher with your finger, and he shouted when he got hit, Allah Akbar, when he got hit, and we all thought, fucking hell, they're fucking here, they're fucking next to us.
Yeah. No, but
it was him crawling up the hill, because it was on a hill, and it was, when he got hit, he was crawling,
sad thing,
and
man,
it was
to witness.
And Cham said, Cham said, this is why I'm still fucking fighting. Because they don't give a shit what religion on that. They're here to kill us and we're here to kill them. And that was like true fucking words, Cham. And
yeah, but when you got bullets flying, you know, your survival mode kicks in. You have to survive. You know, that's with anything in life. But the thing is, you know, that when I was serving, I noticed a lot of people in the basic training came from Africa into England.
Yeah.
African people.
Commonwealth, yeah.
So I was surprised. I'm like, how comes these people they're not British? They've come into England
Yeah.
to join the British Army. They have to do a minimum of so many years, and in return they get a British passport.
Yeah.
Right, and that's how these people joined. They joined because they wanted to have the British passport.
Yeah, they're part of the Commonwealth, like Fiji, Ghana, Kenya,
Yeah, so
Gurkhas, Nepal.
So these guys joined the armed forces here. Now, it's like your own people in England don't want to join the army. You're having to recruit foreigners to join your army, and in return, you're giving them a British passport. That's what I saw in reality happening in the armed forces, whether it's Navy, RAF, or the army. It's what's going on in the army, and I believe it's still happening today, because I don't think the recruitment is recruiting enough people anymore the way it used to. Now think about it, when we joined 20 years ago, 25 years ago, it was a lot different, because I came out of the 90s finishing school, and I used to be in Air Cadets, and the world wasn't the way it is. Tony Blair changed it with Bush. A lot of, he's got a lot of blood on his hands, I believe, Tony Blair has. And he built this whole thing up with Bush on false grounds to create this war, to create this whole Zionist Grand Israel project to conquer so many lands and whatever resources. And that is still actioned because they started it. If they didn't do that propaganda and mind control, it wouldn't get to this stage. Do you know what I mean? So that's all part and parcel of the build up to what's going on today for part of the Greater Israel project. Now, they don't care. They don't care how many people they kill. They don't care about the United Nations or the bigger, the laws of the world of, not killing and not invading, whatever. So they are going into Syria, they are going into Lebanon, they are going into Iraq, they are going into all different. Now they just attacked Iran. Next they're going to attack Turkey. Now, none of these people are invading here. None of these people are coming in England and doing anything. Whenever an attack happens, it comes out of the blue, and you're thinking, why the hell has this happened when the British people are not? I'm a British, loads of Asians are here, who are born here, who have been schooled here. We are very English in our culture and traditional ways, right? And what is shocking is, where do these things just all of a sudden happen, and then it's a divide? Right now, the country is divided because a lot of the people, even gays, have come together with the Muslims and all the other sort of different religions. Everyone's united, saying we don't want war. And then you got the right wing, the people are coming and we need to get them out. So because there's a divide, the tyrants are protected and remained in power. From history, we know people are power. If people are united, you can overthrow the king, you can overthrow any monarchy, any government, if people are united. We are not united as a nation right now. We are divided, and that's by design. And because of that, the tyrants get to rule over us and change whatever laws and make any laws, and we are subservient to them. We have become weaker and weaker and weaker. As a nation, we have become weaker. Back in the 90s, when I was growing up, this would not be able to happen because people had balls. People had the ability to come together and say, we're not accepting this law. We're doing protests. We're not going to work. No one's going to work. And then they're forced to change the law for the people's sake. Now people don't have no say. We vote a tyrant to come into government. That tyrant dictates. It is like a dictatorship, but they camouflage it under democracy. This isn't democracy. How is it democracy when...
Where are we going with this though?
I'm
Sorry,
just
just
saying
talk about his mates getting legs blew off. And then we've just gone fucking miles around the world.
No, but he's a Muslim though, bro. He's a Muslim who never fired a single shot.
Yeah, so then his mates blew his legs up.
He
wouldn't kill his brothers,
stepped on the
blew his legs
ID.
up.
But that black brother's a Muslim from Ghana, and he's not fired a single shot. He's stepped on an ID bomb. His legs are blown off.
So that's what I was saying with the
And
whole
what I'm
politics
saying
side.
is these people were allowed to come and join our army in return to get a British passport. But now he's got a British passport, and a lot of servicemen, English servicemen, who have got PTSD, who have been left and they are getting no support from the government, and they are divorced because they've got issues. They don't even have money to run their families, right? Don't you feel sorry for these English white people who have served for the British Army and have got issues now, and now their whole marriage life is destroyed?
Yeah, I'm one of them people.
No way.
I suffer from complex PTSD
PTSD?
massively.
Wow.
Because of war. Because
And do they support you?
of what I did to the fuck.
They don't.
They fuck now. Military. Luckily, I've got a great fucking wife and great kids and a great family, but it goes back to this,
noticed you got a
PTSD
wedding.
starts from the first tour of Helic I was talking about. You know, it was, like I said, it was war. It wasn't just a gunshot. We were fixing bayonets and we were storming towards enemy positions and closing in and grenading them. It was close quarter fighting with them. And that tour, we lost 12 men, as in my regiment. I lost 12 friends that tour. Out of 360 hours went over. I lost 12 dead, 145 wounded, and 15 with amputees. And so we lost, statistics-wise, we lost 1 or 2 men. You know what I mean? Only 100 of us came back alive, walking without wounds. And that was our first tour, and that was Helic 12. And it was like, I can talk about my fucking friend dying. You said before about I had friends dying next to me. I did. I had
I
good
believe
friends
that.
called Jonathan Monk from Croydon, and he come to us like second week into the tour. So within the first 2 weeks, we already took 10 casualties. We took 10 wounded and 1 dead. We were ficking it. We were fucking fighting, and he come in, and I'd seen him around camp beforehand before we deployed because he was TA. He had to do the training, and he come in and I was speaking to him, and he come in my platoon and. He's a good guy. He's fucking older than me, so I'm only 20 still, and he was 27, and he left the army. Did PWLR, Princess of Wales Regiment. And he left the army. Did sort of Afghan before ours. Got back in, waiting for the fire brigade to recruit in and get in. And this one day we were on operation, and what the Taliban were doing was just fucking throwing IDs around this village called Rahim Kalay, which we were pushing the enemy back. So our role in Afghanistan wasn't hearts and minds; it was fighting. So every patrol was a fighting patrol. We went on 3 times a day, and every time we go on patrol, we get hit by an ID, ambush, or whatever, and we would push out, and we would fight and fight and fight. But the Taliban were closing because they owned the night, we didn't. The night they can come in, they'll dig IDs and fuck off, and we'll go down that route and hit an ID. So our job that day, this operation, was to push out, and this is one of the longest firefights in the campaign. And we would push out, form a beachhead, cross over the river, and push the enemy and fight up for 3.5 kilometres. We had to fight forward. And so we started operation at 6 in the morning, and we went out, and my section was the first section with the beachhead. And ever heard of the infantry bridges? They're literally little single bridges, about the same width of this, walking along, you put them together, you go there close, you in the dark, wait for the sunlight to come up, put them together, and you fucking run forward, throw them over the river, and you get across as fast as you can. So we did that, come across, and I was the first man across, got across. And then the 4th man come across, and as soon as that happened, that was the compound to the front, just opened up. Fucking, there's like something like fucking D-Day. Lads on the bridge dropping, we were getting across, climbing over each other, and that firing stopped. That was a come on. That they were saying, we're here, come and get us, because they knew what we were going to walk into, a fucking trap. So we crossed, and what they did the day before, they blew up the actual bridge the engineers were going to use to go across and clear the IDs. So you had to build that bridge and then to continue the operation. And then you flooded all the fields, all the cornfields and weed fields, and had to flood them all and take up to your fire and fucking wood, and you couldn't patrol through. So we just come under fire. We've now pushed left, and we couldn't get through the field. So we had to go on this tree line, and it was Mark Lee's section first was the point section. They went forward, and as they got to this crossroads, which is a vulnerable area, you wouldn't cross there because you know they'll put IEDs in that area. You know it's just a fucking no-no. Where you want to cross is where you got to fight through to get through, because you know they wouldn't take an ID there, they wouldn't put something there, booby trap, because you would see ground sign, you would see it's been there. So he pushed right and we pushed right, and then for some reason John Monk was point man of his section, and he went for that tree line, that crossroad tree line, and I was looking left and I was like, where's he going? Now we're on the fire now, rounds are flying through and the branches are falling down, and I couldn't see the enemy, you can't fucking see him. I was shooting through the fucking tree line, and as I was shooting, just a bang, massive explosion. Up to this point now, I've not been hit by an IED. 9 platoon have, and 6 platoon have, and we've got casualties, but I haven't. So as this fucking bang, and I was on my back, and I seen something flying through the air over my head, and I was like, what the fuck was that? And I thought an RPG landed or something, but it went quiet as fuck. Like, you can hear the radios going off in your ear saying, what was that? And then no one said anything. Like, no one said anything. And I remember looking to the left and seeing a lad called Red, who won a military cross for this action we did here now. And he ran up and then crossed the ditch. And then all you hear is, yeah, medic, man down, man down. And we're like, fuck, who's been hit here? So Mikey Bakoto, Virginia lad, he crossed over the river. And I was on the other side, and Uff was like, wait here, stay here. And then it came through the reports. It was only about, fucking hell, 20 metres away this ID was. So it was fucking close, all quite close together. And it came over the radio, Reg Varley was like, yeah, KIA, John Monk, KIA, John Monk. And I was like, you know what I mean, this is my fucking friend who I was speaking to about 20 minutes before, calling him a Southern fucking variant, he called me Northern Monkey, bit of banter, and I was like, nah, it's not. And then we got to his body, and where he got hit, he got up, down the tree line, up the tree line, and he got up and pulled up on a branch, and he stood on an ID. Because we're on this big operation, we all had rockets strapped to our day sacks, and he detonated the ID, but then detonated the rockets too. So we had a double fucking explosion. And
splattered.
When we got to his body, it was cut, like diagonally up. His legs were in the field somewhere on the other side of the body. His face it wasn't John. His arm was gone. His other arm was fucking thing, like dismantled. He was dead. He didn't feel it. That's the only thing we can fucking say. He didn't feel it. And we got him on a stretcher. Now the Taliban knew they've hit us. They can see it, and they just started whacking us. They just whacked us now. And you couldn't really fight back. So this is where Red was military cross. He went forward on his own and started fighting on his own, fighting through the compounds and clearing positions. And we put him on, John Monk on a stretcher. And young Webby, I say young Webby, he was a year older than me, but he was a young, small lad. And Rowick on the other side, and I was like, lads, don't look at his body, we're going to get on a stretcher and get him across. And this is why I hate this fucking Major Wood. He got on the radio and said, John Monk, KIA. When you've got a KIA, he's not a priority, he's dead. You know what I mean? It's not a priority to get a helicopter in to come and pick him up, because you're not going to put someone's life at risk to get a dead guy. That's what he said. And he said, bring back the casualty, bring back John to the PB, which is a K.5 away, and we're like, we're not going to carry John Monk half body. We're in a firefight, we're in a fucking fight here. This was the start of a 24-hour firefight. Like, we're in a fucking fight, we can't bring in a helicopter, we need to pick him up. Luckily enough, the Americans came in, the Black Hawks, they come in, Pedros, and they're like, I don't know if you ever know much about the Afghan and the Pedros and stuff. They're the emergency medical team too, but for the American side, but they're like special forces guys. And
Seahawk helicopters?
Black Hawk, and they were alley bastards. They come in 2 helicopters, one will come in first and just start spraying the compounds. The other gun just hanging off to spray, and then the other one just land. Whenever you put a red smoke, they'll fucking land on that red smoke.
They came because you needed them.
They came because we were like, we need to get John out. So we carried a stretcher, and as I was like walking with him on the front left, I was on the stretcher. I just felt his arm hit my leg. And I was like, stop there, lads, his arm's off the stretcher. And I picked his arm up, and his spine was just through, and his rib cage was everywhere. And it's like,
I can't imagine what you've been through. And how old were you when this happened?
I was still 20 now.
You're still 20?
Yeah, I was still 20. 2 weeks later, I turned 21.
So, you know, when you go through this, like, I don't think a lot of people realise what their body goes through, or what your feelings, your heart goes through, and your mind goes through. Because, like, let's be real, a lot of these public people who are going to be watching this podcast haven't actually experienced this or anything even close to this. But I want you to express it the best you can, because when this was taking place, imagine yourself being there, like, visualise it going back in your mind. Describe to these people who are going to be watching this exactly what happens to your heart, because I've been inside, firing and whatever in wars. Describe to them exactly what happens to your heart and your brain, because your heart starts beating, boom, 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 like it's going to explode out of your chest. You know that, and your nerves, everything. Explain to these lot what it feels like when your friend has just been, killed. and whatever you've experienced, and that's not just once. I know you've been through a lot, because the way you're explaining it and the action that you've seen is not something that everyone has seen.
Yeah.
So please
at
tell
that
them.
time, it's at the time you can't feel fucking nothing, to be honest.
You go numb.
I didn't feel nothing. I couldn't grieve. We were in a fight. If you stopped,
Adrenaline's
I was leading, some men, and you stop and you grieve and you fucking start crying, and that's what you want to do. You want to fucking cry, and you want to go home. You want your fucking family, and that's what you want to do. That's what you want, but you can't.
You're nervous.
So
your nervous system is beating, and you're like,
yeah.
Like,
that day was fucking unreal. Before that, I've had casualties, but that was like a close friend. And what was the worst thing about that was saying bye to him in the helicopter. We put him on the helicopter, and there was the SF lads come off the Black Hawk, and we put him on. The pilot looked at me, and I just straight away just like, he's dead. Like, and he just like put his head down, did like a little fun thing to me, and put him on. And I remember just like tapping his hand to say like, I'll never see you again. I won't go to your funeral because I'll be over here fighting still. Bye. Like, and I remember John Huff just like grabbed the SF guys and look after them, and then tapped him on his head.
So you done that?
I touched his hand, and then that was it. Your mind doesn't go blank. You're back in the fight. You're still in the fire.
Yeah,
you still got rounds bouncing by your feet, and you're still in the fire. And you can hear in the radio fucking your lads clearing positions and killing the enemy, and you've got to join this fight. You've got to go back into this fight.
Back to action, innit?
And it was. We got to the compound. We took them from the enemy, and the lads are all sitting around now, and our GPMG guns are firing off, and you see lads crying, and that's what you wanted to fucking do. You wanted to fucking cry, and this was my start of my PTSD with what I was suffering with, and you want to cry, but you can't cry. I had to tell men who were like 28, 29, stop crying.
So these are older guys.
On an operation, we're fucking fighting. One lad, bad. His name's Bad. He couldn't go on that day. He literally put his weapon down, like, I've got kids at home, I can't fight no more, I can't do it.
Shaking, innit?
But at that time, I couldn't understand that. Now I can, because I've got 2 girls myself now, and at that time, I couldn't understand, and I was like, you fucking coward, like, you fucking will fight. And he literally couldn't fight. He had the GPMG too, so he had the fucking platoon gun. He could not fight, we had to give it to one of the younger lads. But we couldn't get him back. So we had to stay with an operation. And this operation now lasted like 32 hours altogether, but 24 of that was constant fire. It was that bad, this operation. We split down to 2 12-man teams, we had to push out, and they surrounded us. The enemy surrounded us, and the 9 platoon tried to cut through, and they couldn't get through. And the engineers were trying to clear the IDs. They had 3 of their guys shot now from the battle. They were about 2k away, and they've been hit. So they twatted us. The Danish army, the Denmark, they come in. They came for reinforced. They got hit. They got ambushed. They couldn't get to us. No one could get to us. And we had literally a magazine each, a bit of water each. Like on Nav was like, just wet your mouths, don't drink it, wet your mouths. And we were there, bayonets fixed on these compound walls, fighting, and throwing grenades at them. They were throwing grenades back at us, and it was that close. You could see like the heads popping on the walls, and you just popping them, and they were popping on us. And one lad called Matty was shot in the back. Luckily, he hit his body arm plate. He was all right. But we had this Bad still here, and he was just like crying, and you know what I mean, he was shell shocked, he was fucked. But we had to fight on, and luckily enough, you pray, don't you?
Yeah.
The Muslims pray, and the Taliban, even though they are fucking the fight, they do stop, and they do fucking pray, and they do
5 times a day.
Yeah, and you do, and you hear the Allah, and you go off and they thing, and this was our time. And I like called Lee Anson from Birkenhead, a good lad, him and the other lad. They broke through to us, and their HQ, they were in the camp. 9 platoon now couldn't come back out to us because they're surrounded. They're getting twatted. Engineers, they fucked off. They've been hit too hard. They fucked off. Danish, they're pinned down. So this, I think it was 8 lads got through to us, and you mentioned Navy. This guy has Navy, and he come through to us with base sacks of water and ammunition, 3k, and then he get 1 round shot at them. Not 1 round.
Because they're praying.
Because they were praying. The Taliban stopped fighting. When he got to us, you could see the carnage. We could see the carnage. You could see the Taliban dead bodies. You know what I mean? And they were praying, so no one hit us, and they got through to us luckily. This is like just before last night, give us water and ammunition, and a Navy guy come out, a Navy nurse, For some reason he was an RPB, and he got like, you get that day sock on, get out there. He's like, I'm a fucking nurse, what am I doing? Like, get out there, you need to reinforce these lads. And he got there and he was like sweating, it's like 40 odd degrees heat, he was sweating, going man down. He's like, I shouldn't be out here. We're like, no, you fucking shouldn't, mate. Like, no, you shouldn't. We had to give him the badge because he'd come out as well to help Bads and get Badders back in. So Badders went back in. As soon as they went back and they crossed over the IED belt and got through it, I headed back to camp. The praying stopped and they're thinking, we're back to action. You know, we had the load, we bombed. But that didn't last long, the ammunition. Didn't last long until the morning, until 7 in the morning.
Sounds like a movie, bro. You know, like you see these action movies, like what you just described is like you lot are trapped. Danish are coming they can't come and help you because the firepower is so much attacking them and it's targeting you.
Yeah.
And you know, the Americans, like, you saved your thing. Like, it sounds like so intense.
We couldn't get air support in. And you got the A10s, the tank busters. We used them a lot, and the weapons they used for tanks, we used them on fucking personnel bodies. We used them on the enemy, and we couldn't get them in because they were fucking too close to us, the enemy. But the 7 in the morning come, or half 6 in the morning, and we were like, we need to bug out of here now. We're out of ammunition now. We can't get resupplied. I had a magazine left. I think I had 20 rounds left in the fucking magazine. You know, I had bayonets fixed, and I was like, need to fucking pull back. The engineers stopped doing the ID belt, they couldn't clear no more. 9 to pull back into the PB because they ran out of ammunition. And then now what you hear was, what the fuck's down the hillside? I was like, what? Like on the hill, and we were at the green zone and the hills, and there's these 3 Panzers Danish tanks just rocked up out of nowhere, like a cavalry, like literally out of film with the cavalry come. We were like, oh my god, they're gonna fire us, and then they're boom, 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 just all firing tanks. And that was all fucking get the fuck out of there. And the A10 come in, then 2 A10s come in. They start circling, they just start dropping them, just spraying. And that was our chance to get the fuck out of there. And we lucky them come together. We pulled out, but as we were pulling out, the Taliban, the enemy, they were fucking hard fuckers. Hats off to them. There wasn't like people like, oh yeah, flip-flop farmers. No, these are hardcore motherfuckers. These are the military boots with chest rigs on. These have been fighting for years and years and years and years. And these are hard bastards. Out of area fighters, some of them are Chechnyan, but these are hard cunts. And these are foreigners. They were getting hit by A10 tank busters, and they were getting hit by tanks, and they were still fucking chasing us. Literally chasing us. You could see them come behind you, and they were chasing us.
Air power, air attack, ground troops, and these lot are still bloody, even in their flip-flops and whatever, they're still fighting hard.
They still come, and we got back to 3K, back to camp, and we walked up the hill, up to our PB, and you were that fucked that day. The rounds were just like pinging next to your feet, and you just couldn't be arsed no more shooting back. You just couldn't be arsed. No one could. And you just walk up the hill, and you're carrying kit, and just like, and just like, whoa, I can't be arsed no more. And then the OC was like, go around the back of the camp. We're like, what? Like, open the fucking front gate? No, go around the back of the camp. And we're like, you fucking prick. And
you're carrying all that weight. Them guns aren't light, man.
Exactly.
They're heavy duty.
Luckily, the weight now is gone because all the ammunition was gone.
Oh, was it the SA-80s you had then?
We had the SA-80s.
Not the new age ones.
No, we had the SA-80s, yeah.
So they are heavy, bro.
Yeah.
And they got a habit of sometimes jamming bullets as well.
Yeah, the shit.
Exactly, yeah, they do. And you know that. And these are not lightweight guns, bro. You're actually carrying them. They're not just carrying them. You got a backpack, which in our basic training, they made us carry a body weight and a half. But obviously, that on the real battleground, you're going to be a bit lighter, right?
Yeah, you're carrying about fucking...
Still a lot of weight.
About 70 pounds. But we got back in from that thing, and the OC said, that's what I wanted. I wanted one of us to die. We've already had a lad die.
Who said that?
ROC. Our major, our officer commandant. And that's what he fucking said, the cunt. And we were looking, I was going home now. I was going home in 4 days' time for R&R. So we've been up there now 2.5 months, and we've lost 2 lads, Holmesy, and we've lost John Monk. And this was the start of the fucking slaughter we had. So we've been, just before John Monk on June 4th, we lost 2 of my good friends, Teddy Webster and Alan Cochran, and they were both hit. They were in Babaji, they were different area to me. They were our B company, and they were hit in an L-shaped ambush. They were shot in the face and the head, and they died in fighting. And they were good friends of mine, and then John Monk died 4 days later. So we had 4 lads, KA now at this point. And I went home, and when I got home to Eastham, you know, I wanted to come home because I was fucked. Like, literally fucked. Face was cracked, feet were cracked. I was just physically fatigued. I weighed about 45 fucking kilos. I was skinny as fuck. But as soon as I got home, I wanted to go back over there. I wanted to be with my friends. And then on 21st of June, I was still at home, and 4 of my friends died.
No way. What, you
They
came back
drowned.
from-
They drowned in a vehicle. They went to a contact. They were in Gresh, and they were driving to a contact. They dealt with a contact. They were driving back in the night, and they hit a vehicle. 2 of them from Birkenhead, Ali and Dougie, hit a vehicle on a road into the canal. And there was 6 of them in that vehicle. 2 of them got out, and 4 drowned, died. And I was at home hearing this, and you know, I was at home for Alan's and Terry's funeral too. So I went to my 2 good friends' funerals and missed John Monk's. I was still over there. And all this played on your head. It's played on your head. I'm fucking now just turned 21 now. It's played on your head. And the tour, as soon as I got back, day one I got back from R&R, we landed in the PB line. That was like the battle. We named it a battle because we were there for 2.5 months. There's now a separate PB to us called the PB line, and the Taliban just fucking ruined it. And we had 13 wounded there. And now day one I got back. I seen a good friend of mine, Tom Sefton, and as he was walking out, we were going on a big operation to fight again. And as I walked past him, fist pumped him, he said, "Go down now." I was like, yeah, good to be back, mate. I was like, "I'll catch you in the compound. I'll catch you in the compound. I'm going in my platoon and get my stuff, and we're going to go out and fight this way, but we will meet up." Yes, see you in a bit, mate. No more than 2 minutes later, he was dead.
Wow.
He pushed out and hit an ID, command pull ID. That day he saved a lad called Charlie. He jumped on Charlie and took the whole blast, and he was dead. And that was day one back into fighting again, and that was a 10-day operation that lasted 6 weeks. That operation, 2 pairs of socks, and
How long was you over there for? What age did you come out?
7.5 months. So we went to April, back in November. So the summer, and it wasn't just like that. Was like they're just 2 little stories, and I can go like in my book. It goes into more detail, the fighting and all that stuff, and I could be here all fucking day and talk about what happened, and some of it you're thinking, bullshit, like how can that thing? But it didn't just happen to me. It happened to our B company, our A company, the Duke of Lancs, the Scots Guards, the Gurkhas. You know, the Marines. We were getting fucking battered out there. So when we come back in November, at the end of the tour, we finished. It was named the bloodiest tour of the whole fucking war, and it still is.
Really?
We had 69 dead KIA.
Not well.
That's a lot,
And
man.
it was 430 wounded in just like 7 and a bit months. Out of how many fucking
Yeah, but it's too much blood, man.
1,500 fighting men.
So would you say now then, now they're at war with Iraq, it would be stupid to go in on foot?
Be fucking stupid. There's war now, change on it, or drones. They had drones back then. We had drones. We had the fucking airplane drones. We had them. We were in Afghanistan now and we had drones, we'll be fucking... It's underground fighting, isn't it? It'd be cave fighting, but...
Problem is they've got drones and they're manufacturing them very cheaply, and they got very long, their drones are flying very long, so technology is enhancing both sides.
Yeah.
And it's going to have, it's going to have issues, but I don't know, man, it's just...
It's a different war now, and that's, when I got from Afghan tour, that's when my PTSD started kicking off. And my PTSD wasn't that I was scared and I was crying and I was, I didn't grieve my friends. So at 16, I lost altogether total. I didn't grieve them until 2022, when I proper grieved them.
Okay, so...
I couldn't grieve them. I would get upset. I would sit there and I would cry, but there's more anger. My PTSD wasn't... I was waking up screaming, of course. I was fucking waking up screaming and cutting the nails.
Do you have horrific nightmares still?
I had horrific.
So you might be sleeping and just something will happen. You just wake up in shock and heart's beating.
It'd be a fight mode. So I used to speak to my friends who were dead at the end of my bed. How I seen this, so John Monk, how I seen his body. Jamie Webb, he died later on. My point man, he died a tour later. Speak to him, Cepho. I just speak to them how I seen their bodies, and I have full-blown conversations with them. At one point, fucking knew where the Echo Arena is. I was on the barriers there, like done. I mean, I was that fucked and trained. I wanted to go off, and something, don't know what it was. Something like pulled me back. I don't know what it was, but my PTSD was I wanted action. I wanted fighting. So what I used to do is walk around and I used to find a group of lads in Liverpool. I used to live now, I live near a dock now. And I'll just start fighting. I'd rough them, start cracking them for no
Just
reason.
random people.
Random gang of lads just in a bar.
No way.
And I'll just crack one just to fight or a bouncer. And I didn't win. Fucking hell, got fucking battered. But that was my adrenaline. I wasn't scared. I didn't have fear. You know, at the end of the first tour, Afghan, I wasn't scared for the tour until near the end, where I wanted to survive. I wanted to come home. And I've got a friend of mine, Dave McQueen. I was always point man or second man in patrol. Every patrol, he put me to the back, and he literally like saw your head out, because I was starting to get the fear. And that's just fucking, I think I was just drained. But when I got home, I just wanted that action. I wanted to go back to Afghan, and then I went on my course to get my corporal now, screw. The corporal course, and I'll be leading men, and we were going back to Afghan in a year and a half. So my focus now was, I'm going back to Afghan. I'm going back to war. I wasn't bothered about fucking girls. I wasn't bothered about fucking sleeping around. That wasn't me. Mine was fighting and action. That's what I wanted. And
I wanted to ask, so you obviously you've been like that since young, and you know, having to go, you've witnessed it, you know, you've seen people go. When did you meet your partner, and when did love come into your heart?
so this comes to the end of my
And then, have you got children now or not?
Yeah, I got 2 little girls. So I met
Brilliant. Okay, so I feel that this is where the change will start coming into your heart, because once you've got your own kids and something to cherish in the world, it's going to change you as a man to make you recognize that you need to be there for these girls, to bring them up into this world, and you know, show them.
I had none of this. So I was young. I had my dad and my brothers, and you know, fucking we're close family, really close family, and but I wanted war. So but when I found out I was going to Afghanistan, fucking focused on that, and I was going back to war. I was fucking happy. A lot of lads left the army after our tour because it was so rough. It was. I don't blame them. Never blame.
Your brother gave you the heads up though.
My brother did. No, our Jake. He said, "Don't fucking go, Josh." But he had a fucking hell of a time.
Was his experience worse than yours, or same?
I don't think you can ever say that to anyone who's been on the tour.
Compare, really.
Everyone has their own experience. So people say, "Oh, my tour's harder than yours." How would you fucking know? You don't know what he was going through, what he's fighting. Like I would never disrespect anyone regiment-wise who was on the front line fighting. I would disrespect the guys in Bastion and KFC doing fuck all.
Yeah.
But I would never do infantry.
I respect that.
If you ever meet an infantry who said he was on Operation Herrick, you know, hats off to fucking they would have been through the same shit as mine. But my story's different because I've got now. What I'm going to speak about now is the Herrick 17, the CGC, how I won the Conspicuous Gandhi Cross. So we went back to Afghanistan. So we had a year and a half at home. Well, at home, you didn't camp on, you go weekend, Monday, Friday in camp and then fucking.
Yeah, weekend home.
During that time, there's nothing really fucking happening. I was just going out fighting in Yarm and Darlington and Newcastle and getting arrested. I must have been arrested about fucking 30 times.
Really?
Yeah, just fucking fighting and stuff. And this one time I got arrested before. This is why, about the VC and CGC, was I went out just before a tour for Heg 17. I was a corporal. We went to our local bar and there's younger lads there, young boys, 18-year-old. Now I'm 23 now. And the younger lads now, 18, who are going to go to Wolvers. And there's a lad there called Smout who shitbagged it, who hit his knee on day 1 and then got sent home and then didn't come back out to fight. There was lads who got hit in Afghan and like week 1 came back out 3 months later, they were also fragged up and back to fighting. And he wouldn't because he had a sore knee. So I didn't like him, I took a dislike to him. And he gobbed off to one of the lads and I heard him say in the bar, so I just said to him, fucking, no, you shut the fuck up. I've just finished the boxing, I'm a boxing champion now and fucking I know how to throw fucking punches and I was moving a bit, I wanted to box and fight. And he came at me, and as he came at me, I just cracked him, and he dropped down. The bouncer come over, said, "Yeah, we've seen that." Kicked him out. 4 hours later, I left the bar, and he's still standing there outside, shouting, "Come on then, Griff, let's fucking fight."
No way.
And I was like, "Come on then." Like he was a private, I was a full screamer. I was like, "Come on then, you fucking cunt." And we had a scrap, and I got the better off him and dropped him, and he hit the floor, and then he hit the floor. I was like, "You fucking cunts." And Webby and Andy McQueen were holding me back. Is it Jamie Webb now, not Terry? Hold me back, and I said, "I was like, you fucking cunt, I'll fucking fight him tomorrow in camp." Because he lived in my block. And as I like pulled back away, he fucking spat blood at me. And I just fucking hate spitting. And I was fucking there. I snapped. Andy's went, "You fucked it now." And I just fucking booted him in the head and I jumped on him and just ground and pounded him, and I was dragging his head to the curb, and now it's all red. I was literally going to kill him. I was getting his head, and I was trying to stand on the curb, and lads then dragged me off. So he went crying to RMPs, and the next day, his face was, he had no teeth, fucking eye socket like this. He was back, chunk out his head missing because I bit his head, which I don't remember doing that.
You didn't get
So-
punished, did you? For
So yeah, so I got arrested like kind of 2 months later, a week
MP,
before
yeah?
deployed. Yeah, by RMPs, and I said I'm going to Afghan, fucking deal with this. After Afghan, I'm going back to war. So before that was going to stop me. So we went to Afghan, and I was leading fucking.
Oh, so you managed to just,
It was in like investigation side, you get like.
and then you chipped.
Yeah, so I went
good.
to Afghan and started fighting. In Afghan, you know, the tour started off like Helik 12, straight away we were taking wounded, we were taking incoming. We were now a helicopter strike op company, so we were going in the helicopters, we would land on a compound, we would get off the helicopters, run in, arrest the fucking Taliban, and then fight from there, and then get back on a helicopter and take back off. We were doing a lot of them, but we were also doing ground holding role, where we were going out and patrol and fighting.
Was it any intense as what you just come out of?
It was intense for the first two and a half months up to Christmas.
Okay.
So this is where we said like A and P, I don't think they're ready. So now this is a close down. We're closing down now. This is 2013. Yeah, 2013, and we're closing down. So we're handing over to A and P and A and letting them go and patrol. And what we were with the QRF, or if they get like hit by ID, we'll casually go and put tourniquet in the legs and that kind of thing. So we stopped patrolling. So as soon as we stopped patrolling, the Taliban controlled the ground, because there's no fucking British force on the ground. So the Taliban, we had a buffer zone of 1 kilometre. We can go out 1 kilometre anywhere and we wouldn't get hit. You cross over that road or cross over that thing, we would get hit. So we had a good fucking buffer zone. You know, we had the freedom of movement. The villagers, the locals, freedom of movement. The locals can grow the fucking the wheat and stuff. No drama with IEDs because it wasn't there. And then we stopped. So when we stopped, the Taliban closed in. If you remember correctly, back in 2012, when Camp Bastion got attacked, that big attack, they say, Raf Reg and all this, and whatever they did, the Taliban come through. They were talking about that attack on the radios, Taliban. So when they closed in, this is now from February to March, and we were getting hit now. So we were in the Sangers, and we were getting hit every day. Every day we're getting hit still from the fire, but we're in the camp in the Sangers, these big towers, and they're tracking us, and they're always like UGL on us and mortaring us, and we were like, they're aiming off here, and we were now, all my mates, we all told me, they're gonna hit us soon, aren't they? I'm like, yeah, they're gonna hit us soon. And then one day, we were looking for the binos, one of the lads during the privates, and said on the radio, there's 3 bold white males with beards watching us with military DSACs on. We're like, what? Like, they're watching us with binos and pointnels. I'm like, pass it up, so we passed it up, and they were Chetnians, obviously out-of-air fighters. And then on the radio it said, yeah, we're going to do the attack again. We're going to hit the camp again with the big bomb. So everyone fought Bastion. They're going to hit Bastion again. So we were the only now British forces here. Everyone British forces, PPs, all poured out. We were the only ones. And nearest one to us, like 20 kilometres away. So we were getting attacked all the time. And then the day off March 25th was the battle. Got a normal day, got up, and then we started getting hit at 10 in the morning. The UGL does, and you started firing rockets at us. And you get to see a lot of movement around. You can see the enemy moving around. And we were saying, right, this is going to go big now. So all the corporals now, we had sharpshooters, 7.62 fucking sharpshooters with 8 times zoom. So we were picking people off because we had nothing to do. And at 6 o'clock at night, I come down from the Sangha. We met up outside the ops room, and we all stood there talking, like 6 of us, going, lads, something's going to happen tonight, we think. And we were like, yeah, we think. And there was John Green, mate, he was on the sniper post. He was like, yeah, we're going to get hit. There's a lot of fucking enemy. I've seen a lot of enemy. So we decided we'll go after food. After food, we'll go up back on the Sangers, and we were fucking, you know, doing night stag. Because if you're going to hit someone, you're going to hit them at night. You're going to attack them. And this big bomb thing was a big threat to the big bomb, but it wasn't to us, it was to Bastion, supposedly. So we walked to the Scoff House, and we've seen Webby, Jamie Webb. It was my point man on my first tour. He was a good friend of mine. He was in the fights, and he was now intelligence. And we said to him, what's going on, mate? Have you heard anything? He was like, no, I think it's Bastion. I think Bastion's going to get hit. We were like, okay, no worries. So he walked off, and we walked behind him, and he went to the tent, got his food. Because we were on stag first, so on stag, we pushed to the front of the Scoff queue. Now we had fresh Scoff. So we got fresh Scoff, and I pushed front, got into the tent, and as I got into the tent, I seen Jamie Webb sitting where you're sitting there. seen Jamie Webb, and I was going to go far left corner of the table, and then next thing you know, bang. It was like I was other side of the tent on my back, and all the stuff was on top of me. I couldn't move, and I was like, and it wasn't just a bang; it was a fucking bang.
What, like
it was?
The thing collapsed on you.
The whole tent collapsed, but the destruction of the camp itself was like, so I used to containers with lorries, you see like big containers on it. They're all squared, aren't they?
Yeah.
They were all round. That's a bit, the whole camp was flattened. So what they did, the Taliban, was the bomb was for us, and there was a ton of explosives in the truck, and you drove it down a wall, drove it down the road, and as it come down the road, they pulled it into the camp, detonated. And
The lorry with a ton of explosive inside.
Yeah, literally blew a hole, killed the ANA there. We had an ANA in Asanga, killed the ANA, and the explosion then ripped through the whole camp. Jamie Webb, who was sitting there, he got crushed.
Ton of explosion. How, like, imagine that what we're looking outside. Imagine that road. If there was a ton in the middle and it exploded, how devastating would that blast
But
be?
destroy all them houses, these houses and everything to the right.
So
and this
basically,
building.
for all them houses, both sides, that building, all the way to
This
where
should be
we
destroyed.
are. Really,
Yeah,
this whole.
this should be
Wow,
destroyed.
that's how
That's how big it was, and he drove it in, detonated.
So basically, that whole block, all the way with this and certain buildings there
be
as
flattened,
well.
be fucking battered.
Flattened.
Yeah.
Was that
So that
time
means
to,
your whole camp got fucking flattened.
The whole camp was flattened.
You're lucky that you survived.
So yeah, so Jamie Webb was there, was that close to me. We were close to the wall with a hit, and when I came round, he was like, fucking dusty, it was tasting like dust, and I was like, what the fuck, I can't feel my legs, like fucking back's feeling weird here, and I was like, what the fuck's going on? And then I heard, Webby's hit, so we're trying to crawl through, it's pitch black, so you couldn't see shit, and you're crawling through, and then I found a friend called Iddy, and I was like, you want mates? And I was like, where's Webby? Like, you can hear him gargling. And I was like, that sound right. And Webby was a bit of a joker. He always played, I knew, like, he wanted the attention. He wanted something, like, if something happened, he'd be like, oh, I'm more injured than I am. So I was like, fucking hell, Webby, fucking pack it in. And then he wasn't playing, he was badly injured. So then all she heard was snap and crack. Snap and crack. When you hear that, that means rounds are coming in. That's rounds coming in. How are rounds coming into camp? Because we're a secure camp. How are rounds fucking passing our heads? And you can see like holes come through the tent, from the round, and a bit of light. And like, so Andy McQueen was there too, a good friend of mine, and they look after Webby. And I said, I'm going to push outside and see what's going on. And I pushed outside. My back now, like, was hurting, but that was gone. The adrenaline was in, and I was in fight mode. But I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what was going on there too. I didn't know what will hit us. I thought a UGL hit us or a mortar hit us. Didn't have a clue. And I seen another friend on the floor. He was down on the floor. And I looked right, and it was just bodies. Just my friends all on the floor. Hit. It was just, camp was fucking flattened. And then I just heard snap, crack, and I looked left, and there was Taliban in our camp.
So obviously they haven't just thrown a ton of lorry explosive to explode. They were ready to fucking pound
30,
you guys from all directions, shoot
straight
so
through.
anyone who's not who hasn't died, we can fucking.
They ran through. So 30 of them stacked up. Bomb went off, and they ran through. They take our camp. You know, fucking perfect fucking attack, fucking brilliant.
Good
and they come through, and because they. Lucky enough, they ran from a distance from about 200 metres. So by the time they got there, I was out of the camp tent now, and it was only 3 of them at this point, like over this mud wall, and one was in, and he was firing, and he seen me, and I seen him, and like, you locked eyes. When you go into a fight, in a boxing fight, you lock eyes with someone, you keep, that's what it was, and I had no weapon. My weapon's gone.
Shit.
So I was fucking unarmed. I was like, oh my fucking God, got no helmets on, no fucking trousers and a t-shirt, and then Matthew was on the floor. He had the LMG light machine gun, and I just fucking grabbed his LMG, which I shouldn't have done. You know what I mean? If his weapon, I took a guy's weapon off the ground. I shouldn't. At the time, it was right to me, but thinking back, no, if I died there, he was unarmed, he'd be fucking dead. So I shouldn't have done it, but I did it. I took his weapon, and I looked at the enemy, and he was 10 metres away from me, and he was coming towards me, throwing grenades, and I was like, fuck. So within a split second, I decided I'm dead. In that split second, I'm dead. I couldn't give a shit. I'm dead. I said bye to my family in my head. I said, but I'm going to fucking kill him.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm going to fucking kill him. And he coming towards me. I came towards him, and he shot at me. I shot at him, and I got the lucky fucking shot, and he fucking dropped.
So
I was like,
survived.
fucking hell. And they pushed to the wall, and then you can see the enemy now come through. And because I was firing LMG, they weren't expecting any fucking like anyone firing back. And he stopped at the wall and started team cover. And I see another guy, he ran, he dropped him. And another guy, he dropped. I was like, so fighting on my own now. So no one now was around me. No one's around me. Got the wounded all back there. And I didn't know the destruction of the camp properly until later on the night. And so I was there for about 5 minutes on my own, just fighting, just holding these fucking 30 Taliban back. And now in my head, I was like, where are my friends? Where's all my mates? I know Andy was safe, I know Eddie was safe. Webby's hit. I was like, where's Danny? Where's John? Where's Moz? Where's Nath? You know what I mean? So I'm worrying about my friends. I thought my safety, couldn't give a fuck. Where are my friends? This is a big attack. And I remember looking back, and what they did was, when the bomb went off, they fired perfectly 2 RPGs straight into our camp and hit our comms. So all our comms went down to end the radio. So no one knew we were under attack. No one knew we had casualties. And we were getting fucking slaughtered. Like, they were just firing rounds in. And what they did, they positioned around the camp, dug in positions. Because they could, because we weren't on patrol. Proper dug in positions, like bunkers, and they were fucking hitting us. And they were just twatting us and twatting us. So now the lads are on the walls fighting, but this breach is not secure. So we need to secure this breach. And luckily then, Sergeant Major come behind me, and then another lad, he started throwing grenades back. And then I seen Danny Mack, my mate, come right to the side, and you think, fucking hell, yes, he's alive for 1 and 2. I've got my best mate next to me now, we're gonna fucking take the fight back. And we were like, right, let's go. And we just ran at them. So the enemy now, we just ran at them, took them. And as I got towards that guy who was on the floor, he was like moving, rolling around, and he had a weapon still, and he had like yellow grenades. And as he moved a weapon, you know, he could have been moving, but I had put another like 20 rounds into him on the floor because he was still a threat. He still had his hand on a weapon, he was still a threat. We put another round into him and neutralised the threat, and then got to the wall. And as we got to the wall, this is where I was hit again. So now my back was broke. So we did obviously a broken back. The 3rd and 4th vertebrae was broke from the blast.
Oh shit.
So I had a nerve finger, but I pushed forward of the wall to look right, because that's where the enemy will come from, and Danny Mack come round. And as he came back out, I stayed where I was, but then stepped like half a step back, and an RPG flung in next to me, probably about 5 meters to my left, and the blast from that, like all the... Luckily I wasn't a half a step forward, because the frag would have killed me, or the stones, and I then broke cheekbone, fragged my face, down with my arm. But with the fragment, was like just blast waves, but the fragment was in my face or splinters in my eye. My eye was like down here, I was fucking bleeding. And then I pulled back to Danny, and then more lads started coming up, and then he was like, we've got casualties. I said, what? I was like, we've got a lot of casualties. So that day we had 16 wounded. We had a gunshot wound head, frag to the head, Webby injured, 2 more head wounds, shot through the chest. 1 lad was trapped in a mortar pit, he was like all fragged up. We were like, fucking hell. So I stayed there fighting for 6 hours.
Whole camp got destroyed, basically. Whole camp got destroyed. Yeah. Loads of injuries and deaths, and you need bloody evacuation from there.
But we couldn't get it.
And get... Yeah, that's
bad. We had nothing. No one knew. So
and no communication even, because you said 2 towers being destroyed straight away with RPG. Nothing. So this is no, bro. That's some trauma to go through.
We're in shit show.
That is some serious trauma, though.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's from the public actually recognises that what you guys as an army front line actually go through.
No.
Because they think that, they just get deployed, and with all their heavy tech, and they're the ones who are invading, doing all the killing. Little do they know that, over here you guys fucking have some serious resistance. Yeah. Serious resistance, and they don't care about losing their own lives, but they're not prepared to give up their land or their country.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying, serious resistance,
That night was the night why I won this, that actions alone is why I won the CDC. Well, like with JJ, because we had no support, we had no communications. He got his radio out, handheld radio. He's the JTAC, he calls in the helicopters now, and he called on the radio, basically, I don't know what word it was, but it's an American version of Broken Arrow, where any air assets come and help, because we are fucking overrun. There's an enemy in the wire, and he got in touch, and it was an A-10 flying from Kandahar to Bastion, and he got in touch with him. He span round, seen the destruction, from Bastion, they knew something was happening because they could see the blast. And that's 20 kilometres away. They could see the blast and they felt it. That's how big the bomb was. And he span around and called in and said, we need every fucking helicopter, everyone here. And that's what happened. They all come in, helicopters, Apaches, Cobras, A-10s. And the fight went on from 6:15 until 9:30 in the morning, that fight. I was only there for 6 hours. Because after 6 hours, I was like...
All through the night?
All through, like, the fight.
All through the night to the next day? Over 12, going into the next sort of double, sort of, It
was like 15 hours battle was. And when I got to the med centre, the little med centre we had there, it was just stretchers of our lads and Afghan National Army. And I was on stretcher, and then I was the last Kazakh to get flown out. And, you know, hats off to the RAF, the MER team, the pilot. He come in 8 times and he was shot. He come in.
Was that your time in Afghan zone then?
So that's the only time I cried.
Really?
Yeah, because when I...
What made you, like, get emotional on this occasion?
When I... so I didn't know where we was still, Belly Indy wasn't dead yet, Jane Webb. I got back to the last casualty, back to the hospital in Bastion, and it was just fucking beds for all my friends, and I was like, fucking Greeny's hit, Moz is hit, fucking hell. Beds were shot, and I was like, and they were like, sit down, just strip me off naked, put all drips in me, took me through an MRI scan straight away, and it's like, it was something like a fucking film. Ever seen Black Hawk Down?
Yeah.
Seen the end bit of the casualties? It was like that. Honest to God, it's like fucking blood everywhere. Doctors on them, medics on them, they called everyone in. And it was like that, and I was like, still I'm morphined up now, I'm more adrenaline up, morphined up, and got put into an MRI scan, and they come back, and I remember like passing out, and I come back to, and then the doctor was like, you broke your back, your third and fourth vertebrae crushed, and like your war's over, and that was it. I just fucking cried.
Oh, because your war was over, that's what set you off?
Yeah, and he said, your war's over, you're going home.
You come straight home, and did you get the award straight away?
Yeah, so we only had 24 days left until the tour finished. It wasn't near the end of the tour, but I knew my friend had out there for 24 more days, want me, and I was crying. And when I come home, hospital, and then because the way the break was, the third and fourth vertebrae, it was like a perfect break, so I didn't need operation unless it healed. So I was bed bound, back at home, but I couldn't lie in bed for fucking months.
You made full limb everything recovery, but just
yeah,
mental
9
health
months.
now.
Yeah,
so
9
it's
months.
just like you're lucky, no bullet penetration, whatever. But you know, you've made full recovery. But
yeah,
I was going to say, you know, like your friends and the loss, life-changing injuries with a lot of these guys on this occasion, like with certain brothers
so
that you know.
when we died that night, he came to his injuries. He died.
Sorry to hear
his
that.
head was crushed. He died, and you know, it's another friend of mine, and yeah, lads still got mental problems with it. One lad's got a hole in his skull, still really a bit slow. He like can't do stuff, and everyone, lads wouldn't say it, but everyone will suffer some sort of PTSD from it. And that's what got me come back home. Was the war was over for me. Now this is 2013. I stayed in for a further 10 more fucking years, but war was over for me. I had no more war to go to. So my PTSD started kicking in even more and more, but I couldn't go to anyone with it, because you go for PTSD, mental health, and you know yourself.
They discharge you.
You discharge, and you're classed as a coward. And later down the line, I got called a coward later down the line. Whoa. And so I was at home, and this is where the fighting bit, when I got off into a fight before the tour. And I didn't know people knew what I did that night, but it was all caught on camera, so that's how it got brought up to attention.
So is this the fight from before?
The fight. So
they did bring that back up to you, against you.
Yeah. So no one knew what I did about the battle with me. To the firefight I was in and won the medal for. No one knew about that was caught on camera.
Yeah.
So now I'm at home now, and this has now gone through that. My actions have been wrote up by a fucking general, pushed up to Buckingham Palace and whatever else, and they've said, yes, we're going to give him the big.
Oh, this
medal.
is for the big battle in the action zone in the middle.
Yes, they're going to give me.
When the camp got attacked and they saw you as a single guy who's fighting on the 30.
Found out my injury, broken back, fracture to the face, fucking out. When you get injured, you have to stop fighting.
Yeah.
Did you get the highest award that this country ever gives?
Yes, I was up for it. I was up for it, but then this fight and the nightclub came
that
back me in the
kicked it
ass. So I got a knock on the door and it's forward to welfare. This is now July time, like, you're getting court-martialed. I was like, what? Like, you're getting fucking court-martialed? I was like, what for? Like, the fight you had back in fucking August. I was like, oh my fucking God. So I went to court-martial, I'm still injured, still back broken. So went court-martial in the number 2s. And I walked in, and the guy was standing there who I had a fight with, and like, what are you doing here? Like, I'm getting done too. And because the army are doing us. I was like, yeah.
So you're both military guys, you're both getting brought into court-martial, and you're both getting done by the same...
Yeah. So they said, you know, what they're going to give me, and I pleaded guilty, looked at the CCTV, yeah, guilty. ABH I was done for, and then the CO coming, the colonel coming, and he went to the back of the judge, and he spoke to the judge and said, listen, you can't send him to prison, because in 3 months' time, he's going to get the fucking VC. So you can't do it. This then got found guilty, obviously. 90 days suspended sentence, kept the rank, which is weird. They're like, what's going on? Kept the rank, not knowing what I'm up for this award, this medal, or the VC.
So what punishment did they give you?
90 days prison for suspended for a year. Yeah,
no number 9's punishment, no
nothing. Nothing, that was
That's good. Yeah. And then, what, 3 months later you did get the medal?
And then, yeah, so then, come to October now I'm going to Trommy Road, now I'm going to the fighting, to go with my brothers and stuff, and because I'm getting me adrenaline back, and I'm better now, and I won that fight. And I got done by the police, and I went back to camp on the Monday and said to them, Mr. Pope, I've been done fighting, blah, blah, blah. I might get sent down prison because I'm still in suspended sentence. He's like, don't worry about it, Griff, don't worry about it. Went down, and I got a phone call from Mr. Pope saying, come to the CO's office, he wants you. So I went to the CO's office, stood outside his office, stood to attention, the RSM come out, and he was a good guy, the RSM. And he's like, oh, it's fucking you, isn't it, Griffiths? And I was like, what the fuck? Put a paint stick at me, I was like, oh, fucking, here we go. Marched me in, I got right, marched me in. And then the CO then to me said, he's like, no, stand at ease, chill out. Congratulations, Corporal Griffiths, you won the Conspicuous Gandhi Cross.
What's that?
And I was like, I'm thinking I'm getting sent down to prison because of fighting. Yeah. So I'm like, fuck. And he told one in, I was like, all right, guys, it would have been the fucking VC. You can put your fucking hand in your pockets. So I did get it, but then because of the army at that time was getting to distribute, and you had to knock me down peg, and you couldn't have war hero, fucking saves lives, fights, broken back, and kicks fuck out some kid fucking 5 minutes ago.
Some story that.
So that's how I got it, and then the rest is fucking dealt with PTSD, and I'm not over that now, you know, I still suffer with PTSD, and
You getting treatment for it or that?
The army tried treating me. Since when I got called a coward in 2015, I went 3, got called a coward by a sergeant major called Pat, called me a coward for going. They tried treating me, they said, we can't treat you, you've got complex PTSD. I had fucking, it was 125 different issues with like situations. And he said, you can't treat you. I said, I'm not taking pills because you've done this to me, so I'm not taking pills the rest of my life. I'm being fucking mentally ill and being a civilian, and you know what I mean, that's not going to happen. He said, well, you can have a soldier on and forget about the PTSD, or we can end the year with all this shit. So I said, soldier on. So I soldiered on for another 7 years, and then went back to had a relapse PTSD in 2021, just before my little girl was born. I met my wife now in 2018.
Right, okay.
And the war was over and everything else was over, so I had PTSD, and I went healthy for me and being in the camp, so I took me back, and I said, I'm leaving. I had a year in the army still, before you leave, you got to do a year, and I was seeing a nurse every week, and that's when I grieved. That's when she came on, you need to grieve, you've not grieved. And that's when I grieved then for that year. And then I had my little girl, and then I went to see these people called the Speakmans. I don't know if you heard of them, nicknamed Speakmans, and seeing them, and they treated me quite well, paid more good money for it, but paid quite well, and they helped me with my dreams. I don't see my friends how I've seen them, I see them as normal. I don't fucking react to like contacts or bangs, or I used to like vision IEDs going off and pull my car over and get out and act. I don't do that anymore. So, but I do still suffer with it. Still.
Have you obviously with the medical record when you leave, get discharged, you have a medical file that you have to give to your GP on.
I'm not registered with doctor. I'm unregistered with anyone.
You aren't registered. You need to though, bro.
I need to, but I don't want to. That's just. So, I don't know.
Apparently, well, when you register with the doctors, you have to tell them that you are ex-services. You have to give them your file, and not just that. You tell them about all your issues. They're going to see it through the medical record, and then you need to. Okay, you might not be on benefits or whatever. I don't recommend that to nobody, but you are entitled to PIP.
Yeah.
With your medical conditions, you will get payment from the government, bro. And
Yeah.
I suggest you go and get this done, because I don't know how much you're going to get, but your medical record and what you've gone through is going to be, there's a file for it, okay? The military gives you that, and you
Yeah.
need to take that to your doctors. Sign up with a good doctor that recognizes ex-services people, and then from that, they will do a PIP form. This is personal independent payment for mental health or any disability, right? You are entitled for this. You have served your country, you have done a lot, and you've been through a lot. From this story, what you've told me, I know there's a lot, and you deserve to get your welfare from the government, because there's no fucking way I believe that someone spends almost 20 years serving their country, being thrown in the worst, like into the pits of fucking warfare, seeing bloody all his battalion and friends getting killed, and close people getting, who you've been sitting and eating with, spending time with, who are your bros, because that's what you are in the military. Let's be real. A lot of the youngsters who start from young age, the reason they don't get married and whatever, because they want to carry on being with the lads. That's the whole point. A lot of the men join the military, and then when you see your friends die, no longer there, that's going to have an effect. And you've done almost 20 years. You deserve to get your care package from the government on a monthly basis. Now, you can have a business, bro. You can be earning 2, 3, 5 grand a month, but you are still entitled for your PIP. And I recommend you do this. And
I'll look into it, but
don't-
that's not me. I think your military side of me, not.
I think you should, bro, genuinely, because at the end of the day, it'll better your life. You'll get free treatment, mental health, whatever, whatever the thing is, you're going to get that treatment. You're going to be able to go to the spa or whatever, get a free gym membership, even like with David Lloyd's, for example, because you are ex-services, they will give it to you at a quarter of the price. Do you get what I'm saying? So you need that, and it's going to make you a better man. Like mental health, mentally, it's going to improve your life, and your family needs that. They want the best version of you. Your daughters want the best version of you. Just as a brother, I'm advising you, please look into it, because you need it.
I'll have a look into it.
Josh, before we wrap it up, do you want to give your book a quick mention, and then we call it?
Yeah, so I wrote a book. Obviously, it's a lot more stories. Kid in that book goes from growing up to literally getting married in Vegas to my wife. It's in editing now, and it will be out. I'm looking to be out in October, just before Remembrance Day. Got the big thing about the army then. So, and it's basically a Griff, a soldier story. I've called Griff, and it's basically not like this SF stuff. It's what an actual soldier went through, and what I did and suffered in the military, at home, and go from fighting to PTSD. So what we just briefly talked about there. But yeah, it'll be out in late October, early November. So look forward to that. It's quite good detail, law. It's very raw. It's very, I'll go into some detail. But yeah,
I think this is the most graphic sort of interview I've ever done on here, with especially real military action story. Like, I don't think I've ever heard a story like yours, like actually intense. So I appreciate you coming here, opening up, opening your heart, opening your mind, sharing the whole experience, not just with us, with the audience that are going to watch it. Anyone who's thinking of joining the military, especially the army, just listen to this guy's story. And, when you hear Josh's story, just, take into account that what you're signing up for.
Exactly.
It's real. It's not fun and games like you're playing on a computer game. This is real life, real loved ones, people you make memories with are actually getting taken away from you, or you're seeing their limbs getting torn apart or whatever. And then, like he said in this story, he wasn't even able to attend the funeral of this, his friend, and he had to touch him a goodbye, to John. So just bear that in mind before you make a decision of going into action, okay? That's all.